Hi everybody. We're going to move on. We just finished the direct materials budget and now we have to pay for the things that we're buying. And we want to know the timing of those payments. So that's going to be our disbursements budget, our expected cash disbursements. That's a fancy word for payment, cash payments for direct materials. So we have two kinds of materials. So in quarter one, we're going to buy $304.15 of glass containers and $249.20 of wax. So the total materials that will be bought is both those numbers. When are we going to pay for those? When are we going to pay for those first quarter purchases? We've got to go look at the policy. Let's do that. What is the payment policy here? All materials are purchased on account, and the materials, 30% of the materials are paid in the quarter they're bought. So materials, 30% of the materials bought in quarter one would be paid in quarter one. And the rest are paid the quarter after the purchase. So the quarter one material purchases, 30% will be paid in quarter one and the rest in quarter two. So that's our policy, and of course we're not going to type anything in. We're going to link back to the policy in case the policy changes. All right, let's have a look here. So the first thing is we're going to pay for the remaining 70% of the quarter from year one. So the fourth quarter of the prior year, 30% would be paid in the quarter and 70% would be flopping over to the next quarter, which is quarter one. Where are we going to find that? On the beginning balance sheet. On the beginning balance sheet, it's going to show us what we hadn't paid for. And it's going to tell us here all will be paid in the first quarter of 2002. And we're going to assume that everything in accounts payable was for materials. Okay. Now, we're not going to drag that over because we collect the whole thing in quarter one, so there won't be any activity here in quarter two and quarter three and quarter four related to the prior year fourth quarter. All right, now let's look at the first quarter purchases. So the first quarter purchases are 304 plus the 249. I'm not typing anything in. And because of the order of operations, I'm going to have to put a parentheses in there because that combined is going to be times something. If I don't put my order of operations and I times it, it's only going to go times the B24, not the total purchases. So I'm going to do that. So times, and now I'm going to go click on the policy. What percent of quarter one purchases will be paid in quarter one? 30%. When's the rest of it going to be paid? When's the rest of this 304 and 249 going to be paid? In quarter two, in the quarter after. So, open parentheses, 304 plus 249, in parentheses times. Now this is the remainder of quarter one being paid in quarter two, and that will be the 70%. And I always like to check myself, so I'm going to highlight both of those, and I'm going to look down here at the bottom and see if it's the same as the total for quarter one, which it better be. So 55535. So I'm going to click here and click here, so it will add those two cells, 55335. Okay, good. I have paid now in these two cells. I've planned out the payment for the total purchases from quarter one. Now, let's do the payments for quarter two. So quarter two, open parentheses, is going to be the combination of the purchases for the glass containers plus the purchases for wax times purchased in quarter two, paid in quarter two. That's what I've got to click on. Purchased in quarter two, paid in quarter two. And now I've got to pay the rest over here in quarter three. So that's going to be the purchases in quarter two added together times that percent that's going to be paid in the next quarter, in the quarter after the purchase. So sometimes I call this the payment stagger or the payment map, where I'm mapping out when will the first quarter purchases be paid. 30% will be paid in the first quarter, 70% in the quarter after. Quarter two, 30% are paid in quarter two, 70% are paid in quarter three. And we can do that check again by clicking on both of those. I'm holding down my control key and clicking on both those cells. And I'm going down 80608. Now let's click on both of those, 80608. So I know I've paid all of it. So that's a nice check figure. All right, third quarter purchases. I'm going to do 30% of them in the first of the third quarter being paid in the third quarter, but I'm not going to type that in. I'm going to link back to the original data so that if it changes, and it can, my whole budget will update for that. And then I need the remainder here for the third quarter times the remaining 70% that will be paid in the quarter after the purchase. All right, now the fourth quarter. So 30% of the fourth quarter will be paid in the fourth quarter. So let's add up our purchases from the fourth quarter and then times that, what management says is their best prediction. Now, when will the rest of that 600 and 400, when is the rest going to get paid? First quarter of year 3, X3. So it will be an accounts payable in the ending balance sheet of X2, waiting. That liability's been set up, the purchase has been made, you will have to pay for it. It will be paid for in the following year, first quarter of the following year. So let's set up how much is that's going to be. So that's going to be the cost of the purchases. Be sure to use your parentheses so that you get that total. What's the total purchases in quarter 2 times the one that's going to, the percent that's going to be paid in the following quarter. So that's going to go in the ending balance sheet as what's owed. It's not paid yet. What's owed and will be paid in the following year. All right, the next one we'll do is the labor budget.